college playoff. It figured to be, and it was. A line of scrimmage game? Yes, it was. 11 local. They are in Kyle Field early. What a great environment and what a windy environment. It was a special teams fiasco in the first half. Miami blocks a field goal here. Carter Davis for the Hurricanes missed a couple from 47 and 40. 3 missed field goals, a scoreless first half of football, but certainly not uneventful. A lot going on. We've got a 3-3 game. Malachi Tony, the spectacular freshman, has a catch and has it ripped by Damian Sanford. And Tony's being consoled by his teammates on the sideline. A&M in position perhaps for a field goal to maybe win it. Marcel Reed, guess who? Reuben Bain Jr., 7 sacks, the second most in a game in college football playoff history. A&M has to punt. Mark Fletcher Jr., Dusty and I texting throughout this game, why don't they just give the ball to this man? His mom, Linda's like, give the ball to my son. He had 17 rushes for $172. Do the math. He's averaging 10 a carry. 3rd and 5, you do not want to settle for a field goal? A question about maybe do you go down or go out at the 1 and kick a field goal to win it? No. Tony runs it in. Michael Irvin going wild on the sidelines. And now A&M goes right down the field. They've got a chance. Mario Craver back in the end zone. He catches it, but as you can clearly see, that left foot is out of bounds. Next play, it's 2nd and goal. Reed, pass deflected. Mohamed Toure there, a big hit. Wondering, would they look at it for targeting? Dusty and I, you talked about this off air. Looked like maybe the helmet hit the shoulder pad first. So now it's 3rd and goal, and it's picked. Bryce Fitzgerald, the pass behind the intended receiver, and Miami. And the biggest game in Kyle Field sends them home incredibly disappointed. Miami, gigantic dub. They will celebrate and earned the right to do so.
Look, this means my boy. This means everything to them, and they made a decision 40-some odd days ago to change the narrative. And we built this team from the trenches out, physical, tough. More than anything, they're great human beings. We love this, baby. Way to go, coach. Let's go.
Lord help Michael, man, gonna have a medical episode. This sets up Miami, Ohio State. The last time they played, the video is not HD. Of course, that was a 4th down stop. Miami thinks it's won. A very late pass interference call. Ohio State would score a touchdown to tie it in double overtime. Maurice Clarett. Ohio State takes the lead. Then Ken Dorsey was sacked. That was a bad beat for some. Ohio State wins the BCS National Championship. We'll get to that in a minute. Dusty Dvorak is with me. There's so much in this 10-3 game, and given all that's going on today, we just don't have the bandwidth to dive in. But as you and I talked upstairs, a game like this, plays are made and plays aren't made. The plays that were made for Miami that made the difference, what can you show us?
The touchdown drive, the only touchdown this game saw, and it was after 5 straight runs to Mark Fletcher. 3rd and 5, you think, give it to 4. That's what you and I were saying. That's not what they do. Shannon Dawson dials it up for number 10, Malachi Tony. So I'm going to stop it right here. First of all, man-to-man. This is going to be a foot race. Jordan Shaw 8. It's going to be a foot race. He eventually loses. Now, I want to talk a little defense here. Take this back for 1 second. I want to talk defense here for 1 second, if you could. So the point on defense on something like this in a wide zone, you got to set edges. You got to set edges, and you got a corner. So you got 3 guys that can set this edge, okay? Now watch as this unfolds. Here's what happens. First off, you have a crackback, a great job by C.J. Daniels. And what that does, not only does he get this block, it gets this corner to take a couple of steps inside. Then Francis Mauigoa, one of the best tackles in football, he's going to reach this outside 9 technique, and it's going to allow for no edges to be set. Also with this, you've got a convoy, 9 Elijah Lofton. He's going to check here, and then he's going to get up the field. And Mark Fletcher is going to get just enough of this 9 technique before he gets up the field to help allow this perimeter to be caught by Malachi Tony. I mentioned Shaw. He doesn't win the foot race, and that is redemption for Malachi Tony. You talked about the fumble. To go back to him in that spot, that was absolutely massive. So they scored a touchdown. You got to get a stop on defense. Well, we know how it all went down, and A&M puts themselves in position to win this game. So let's take a look at how Bryce Fitzgerald, the freshman, who came in because Poyser was down, gets his 2nd interception of the day. He's sitting up here. He's in man-to-man coverage with the tight end, Ostrom. All right, as we're going to see this unfold, Ostrom, he's going to run an angle route. He's going to start out, and he's going to work back inside. He's actually going to get a step on his man. He's going to get exactly what they want. But as this unfolds, okay, you got an underneath defender here who's just in zone coverage. He's trying to be in the way. Ostrom right out. He's got just a step. You'll see right here. He's got just a step. This ball has to be placed, Scott, right in here. It needs to be high. It needs to be about center of the goalpost. And instead, the pass is late. It's behind. Bryce Fitzgerald is the hero. Marcel Reed, the accuracy issues reared their ugly head in the worst moments. And in that spot, they get all the way down the field. He made some really big throws to get there, but that's a tight window throw. You've got to be pinpoint accurate, anticipate that throw, allow your tight end to go up and get it. It's behind him, and it's a loss for the Aggies and a huge win for the Miami Hurricanes.
And it was a line of scrimmage game. That Miami defense, their presence was felt. Against Indiana, we saw Ohio State and Sand pressured in a way they really hadn't been throughout the year. When they play in the Cotton Bowl, what's your early sense of what we could see there on that line of scrimmage?
Rock fight. Look, I think Ohio State has few weaknesses. The offensive line is one. 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss for Indiana. And Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, those guys were wrecking shop today. 7 sacks for that Miami defense, 4.5 for those two. I think that's going to be the key to the game. If Ohio State can't protect, it could be a long night for this Ohio State offense.
Yeah, I mean, the history, there's not a ton of it, but all of it's so incredible.
Never mind the fact that there was video evidence of him on all fours praying to whatever God is responsible for Miami football's fate. I just, your thoughts first on that.
It was a close game down the end. I don't think we took off a belt to anybody. Like, this could have gone either way, Mike.
Correct, Mike. But I digress. We have Roddy Jones here with us on SportsCenter, and though we have the ringing endorsement of one Michael Irvin, what was your takeaway from that Miami win?
I think it had to be the Miami defense. They held this Miami team in the game over and over and over down the stretch while the offense struggled for most of the game as expected. But this Miami defense created 3 turnovers, a strip sack of Marcel Reed that they recovered. They also intercepted him twice. Bryce Fitzgerald earlier in the game intercepted him in the middle of the field, and then obviously had the game-winning interception that sealed it. And then they blocked the field goal as well. Ruben Bain got his hand up on a 22-yard field goal and blocked it. This Miami defense was phenomenal, particularly on the ground. Texas A&M didn't cross 90 yards rushing the football, and everyone said, and I certainly did, that running the football was going to be the key.
Paramount, and also not turning the ball over, which clearly Marcel Reed did. That also sets up the first matchup of the quarterfinals. Roddy, would love to get your thoughts on that, so hang tight for just a second. Nicole, take it away.
Well, did we think that Ole Miss was only Lane Kiffin? No, we did not. They're also Pete Golding. First game as their head coach. Ole Miss to Lane. First play of the game. Like, I'm not joking. This is the first play of the game. Trinidad Chambliss to Dejon Stribling, who takes it for the first down. That was a gain of 30. Next play, Chambliss to Daquan Wright. So the first play was 30. This one is 25. And after 2 plays, Ole Miss is already in the red zone. The third play, Kewan Lacey. 15 carries, 87 yards. Ole Miss went 3 plays, 75 yards to take a 7-0 lead. That was 59 seconds into the game. That's the fastest start in CFP history. What they were doing on offense, they could also do it on defense. Jalen Braxton, I want that. Huge pick for Ole Miss because it sets this up. Oh, off the block from Lacey now, Chambliss, who also had almost 300 yards passing. That made it 14-0. Off the turnover, Ole Miss started the game with 5 straight plays of 20 or more. That is the longest streak in the last 20 seasons. Did anything change in the second half? No, it did not. Ole Miss now up 24-3 after that one. Then in the fourth quarter, Chambliss does it again. Pete Golding, first game, first win, 41-10. Kicking off the CFP with a solid win over Tulane. They are off to the Sugar Bowl.
Coach Golding's first win as an Ole Miss coach, CFP win. You got it.
I'll trade it in for the one next week.
counting down the wins as to what's next. This was a number of wins for this program this season because that was number 12 for Ole Miss, which is a new program record. Their only loss was back in October against Georgia, which is who they will see New Year's Day in the All-State Sugar Bowl, January